a reading, an invocation for our flower communion from Thomas Rhodes. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches, some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some spread ourselves out wide. Some are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell. All of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. What a bouquet of people we are. This flower communion, this ritual of bringing and taking flowers, which we celebrate, was started in the spring of 1923 by Reverend Dr. Norbert Čapek, who started the Unitarian congregation in Czechoslovakia, the Unitarian church at all there. And the last Sunday before that congregation would move towards its summer rhythm there in Prague, all the children and adults would participate in this ritual. Čapek realized that symbolic rituals are essential for religious community, but he knew that the wide spectrum of theological belief in our Unitarian church made it a challenge to have a meaningful communion. So he turned to the natural beauty of the countryside for the elements of a new ritual. He invited members of his congregation to bring a flower from the fields or from their garden, representing their individual uniqueness and beauty. And all the flowers were then collected as people arrived in church that morning into a common bouquet representing the community, each person adding their own flower, showing it was of their own free will that they joined with others, our chosen faith. And then at the end of the service, each person would come forward and choose a different flower than the one they brought, weaving us together, creating acceptance of one another, reflecting how much each person received from belonging to this wider web. This is a ritual that gives a concrete expression, a visual and real symbol to our life-affirming principles, to our liberal and open-minded faith. It was a challenging time to be celebrating such values there in Prague. In 1938, the Nazis invaded. And by that time, many Jews had been welcomed into membership in the Prague Unitarian Church. Nazi spies listening to Čapek's preaching eventually made sure he was arrested, and all his writings were seized. He was charged with treason. Because in the Nazi court records themselves, they said that Čapek's theology of the inherent worth and dignity of every human person was too dangerous for the Reich to be, for him to be allowed to live. He was sent to Dachau, where he was killed in 1942 during a Nazi medical experiment. For other prisoners, he had been a source of inspiration by the courage he displayed in the face of torture and salvation. Perhaps the last piece of writing by Čapek comes from a Dresden prison in 1941, shortly before he was transferred to Dachau. And the translation is by his daughter, Reverend Bondana Čapek Haspel. And so even then, facing his own death by a cruel and intolerant fascist regime, he wrote, "It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight and everything would seem worthless, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living." Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight, be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. A gentle man who suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and dignity, of celebration, of human difference, of community beyond difference of belief, of culture, of race or nationality, it lives on through this ritual of flower communion. In 1939, Norbert Čapek's wife, Maya Čapek, came to the United States for what was supposed to be a brief speaking tour, but she couldn't return because World War II had started. During this time, she introduced the flower celebration to the first parish in Cambridge, and it spread quickly from there. And only after the war did she learn of her husband's death. So today, in our virtual flower communion, we celebrate the beauty, the worth, and dignity of every person. And through this celebration, may we awaken again to our love for this world, to that ethical calling that that love places on our lives. The ethical calling our contemporary theologian Rebecca Parker talks about in Radically Realized Eschatology, of finding paradise here, in this world, here and now. She says, we come to know this world as paradise when our hearts and souls are reborn through the arduous and tender task of living rightly with one another in the earth. Generosity and mutual care are the pathways into knowing that paradise is here and now. This way of living is not utopian. It does not spring from the imagination of a better world, but from a profound embrace of this world. It brings hope home to today, to this moment, and its possibilities for faithful love. And so as I share those images that you sent me, so many you did send, and many, many more of you I know did not have a chance, and there will be flowers to represent you, unnamed flowers throughout. Thank you to Valerie Taylor for sending those. As they scroll by, may they bring a hope home today. May they remind us of why we love this world. And through that remembrance, awaken us to a deeper calling of being, of loving one another and our world today. A flower communion.